Hey, y'all, welcome back to the show. What you're about to hear is a clip from my recent growth training masterclass inside my Authentic Instagram Engagement Facebook group. This is solid advice based on what we've tested, what our clients and mentorship members are seeing, what I'm using, and what research is showing for 2022. During the training, I shared 4 solid strategies for growth, and today's episode features sound bites from the first 2 tips. The first one was a compelling bio, and the second one was some of what I shared for a content flow, which I know you'll be incentivized because many followers struggle with consistency on the platform, and that shouldn't be the bottleneck to your growth. Now, if you want to hear the full training, and trust me, you do, to gain access to the full masterclass video, plus the full show notes, plus a PDF of 50 growth ideas, click the Follower Growth Masterclass link at the top of the show notes to download and get on your way to growing your account with the new Instagram features in 2022. And now, listen in.
Welcome to Authentic Online Marketing with Ruthie Gray. Growing awareness for your blog, podcast, book, or product involves more than dancing to reels and yelling, "Buy my thing." This show models quality over glamour so you can put your spin on your message and market in a way that feels authentic to you, because nobody wants to sound like an infomercial. And now, here's your host, Ruthie Gray.
All right, here we go. 4 best ways to grow Instagram followers organically. Number 1, you need a compelling bio. Your bio is comprised of 150 characters. That's all you have. Think elevator pitch. You need to get clear on what it is you're doing and what your message is. Use keywords. Keywords are searchable on Instagram. So use stuff that bio with keywords about your message. WIIFT. What's in it for them? Don't just talk about you. Let your audience know, your potential followers know, what are you going to give them? What are they going to get from following this account? You have 7 seconds to impress that, random person who decides to go check out your page. And if it is really not clear, or if maybe it's not for them, but it needs to be clear so that they know if it is or if it isn't. Here's some suggestions for that. Here's a little template. I help blank do blank so that blank. So most of my clients and students of my mentorship and my trainings already know about this. And they work hard to make their bio clear. We give input. And I want you to think about it. Sit down and write your keywords and think, how can I say this succinctly and clearly? Here's another tip. Make your username different than your title. If your username is Karen Brown and your title is Karen Brown, then you're using up space that you don't need to use up. Say it differently. Karen Brown, attorney at law. Attorney at law, Karen Brown. Okay? So, because right underneath your profile picture is a place for a title to clarify more what you do. All right. This will help you to say it concisely as well. Emojis. Emojis often can say something for your industry instead of using even more words. So use emojis. Some people don't like emojis, but you can use them sparingly. I would say don't use 100 of them. Like I go on some people's accounts and they've got all these flowers and things like that. And that really doesn't help you. So you want to be succinct and sparing with your emojis. And then have a clear profile of you, not your blog logo. The way you can do this, here's the thing. See, the wall behind me is clear. I could take a picture with that or any kind of clear background. At home, I have a barnwood wall. Many of you know I have 2 locations, Florida and West Virginia. Right now I'm in Florida, But in West Virginia, I have a barnwood wall. And Haley took my page and made it all clear in the background. She took my profile picture and made it clear on Canva. And you can do that too. That helps it pop. You can make it white, you can make it green, purple, whatever. The lighter, probably the better, but it just will help you out. Or even get a professional photo made, which would be great. Omit in your bio cutesy, nebulous jargon, 100 emojis, and information that's only just all about you. People want to know what's in it for them. You have to make that clear. And I always tell my students, we have to do the thinking for them. 7 seconds is not a lot of time. It must be clear. Number 2, content flow. Where's the bottleneck? Oftentimes, that's where it is. We don't know what to post. And so we're not consistent. Consider this. We ask 3 questions when people enter the Authentic Instagram Engagement Facebook group. 1, how did you hear about us? 2, what's your Instagram goal? And 3, what's your biggest struggle? And 75% of users, this is from our own research, claim inconsistency on the platform. That should not be the holdup. That should not be the bottleneck, because consistency is a key pillar to gaining traction and growth on Instagram. Inconsistency is one of the biggest roadblocks to growth. Consider this. I saw this term, a meme recently, 17th century term, spuddle, to work ineffectively, to be extremely busy whilst achieving absolutely nothing. Oftentimes, this is how our Instagram posting goes, correct? Here is a more relevant term, busy work, work that usually appears productive, but actually only keeps one occupied. Sound familiar? Any emojis out there? Raised hands. If you don't have a content flow, you may wake up one morning and say, oh, I'm going to post. And then you're like, get all in your head, like, what am I going to post? Well, does that tree make any sense to post? Or what do I write about if I post that tree? Well, this sunset is a great idea, but I don't know what goes with it. Then you say, oh, maybe I will do a reel. I'll do a reel. And then you get all stuck in your head on what should the reel be. You need a content flow. I'm going to tell you how to get one. Here's what's working now. Here is a content flow. This is what we suggest to our students. This is what I do. Suggestions for 2022 based on features that work right now. Reels. You knew I was going to say it. That's what Instagram is using. Their competition is TikTok and YouTube. Instagram wants to be the go-to for educational purposes as well as entertaining purposes. So use these features. There's a new collab feature for Reels. Use a Reels remix. Use trending sounds. Use your own branded content. Branded content is unusual. It's unique to you. Instagram has already said they're going to be pushing out that unique content too. Or do 30 days of Reels. I have a lot of students that have taken this challenge. It's just all over Instagram. And this is for when you have some time, okay? But you could take an afternoon and shoot, or you could take 5 afternoons, shoot 5 reels each day, or one afternoon, shoot 15, the next afternoon, shoot 15. And here's why you want to do that. Number 1, to learn about reels and how they work. Number 2, for data. If people don't respond to your reels, you'll know you need to not do those kind of reels. And if you do 30 days of reels and some are responded to and some aren't, you've got 30 days of data. You have just made your market research and now you're ready to hone in even more on who that avatar is and your verbiage for what you need to say to attract her. Here are 3 resources to up your Reels game if you are lost. The number 1 is our Reels personality quiz. You're either an educator, an encourager, or an entertainer. Sometimes you're 2 out of 3. Sometimes you're 3 out of 3. I'm 3 out of 3, and that's okay. But we're going to give you your top score, and you're going to get suggestions based on that. Haley is going to drop that in the comments right now, that link. Many of you took it last week. And if you took it last week, feel free, or if you've taken it before, feel free to drop in the comments which one you were. It's usually dead on. And then I give you suggestions on how to use Reels based on your personality, because not everybody wants to sing and dance, right? Not everybody is cutesy or funny. And then you'll get this free checklist, 40 Reels ideas to boost your Instagram presence with that. So there you go. There's your ideas. There are your tools. And then finally, we've created an Instagram Reels crash course that is excellent. It's very low cost, and it gives a slide presentation with ideas and examples for what's going on with Reels. But then also there are several videos that I taped showing Reels and how I did them and the features used in Reels and how you can use them too. So that is a very excellent resource. You don't have to look anywhere else. You could just use that and go from there. Use educational or hot topic carousels that hit a pain point. This is from Jamie and Chris Bailey. They do excellent work. She's a client and member, and she has gone from ground zero, lost on Instagram. You've probably heard me talk about her on the podcast, to exploding, even gaining a book deal on Instagram through a hashtag because she learned how to use it. So she knows that this is very effective. Watch what happens here. 5 things you're missing while you're trying to be right. And then she pulls the eye along and she gives you those 5 things. And it's a very effective way to use carousels. So use carousels for that educational or hot topic pain point kind of things. And at the end, then say like and save or like and share. Okay, so we've said Reels, we've said carousels. Now, thirdly, go live once a week or once every other week, or maybe you start out once a month. Try to do it the same time, the same day. Go alone or with a friend. If you really want to expand your reach, go live with a friend, a colleague or a client, a friend that maybe compliments your brand or enjoys your message. Colleagues, same way. Or a client could be doing testimonies. We have a gal in our mentorship, my podcast coach, Ren Robbins, and she goes live once a week. It's the same day every week. And guess what she does? She answers questions about podcasting. Brilliant, right? So gather questions somewhere on Instagram or in your email and go live and do that. Maybe it's a Tip Tuesday. Publicize your live. Publicize it in stories. Use the countdown feature. I do that a lot. Send it in your newsletter. Make a feed post about it. Make a reel about it. But let people know you're going live so they'll show up. And then share it in the feed, because a lot of people won't show up, but they'll watch the replay later. Here's how to set a reminder. Before you share your post, under tag people, it says add reminder. And then you can title it. Like mine was Live with Ruthie. It might be better to title it something that's very succinct about what you're going to teach about, like how to keep plants alive or feeding your cows the best seed or whatever you feed cows, things like that, or your sheep. And then you give the start time. And then once you do this and click done, then Instagram gives a button that people can click on to view the event details from that post. It's an excellent, excellent tool. All right. Next, be consistent by repurposing content. Where are you getting your content from? If you have a weekly blog or podcast, then that's where you go and you build on that. So for instance, I share the podcast. It's the top of my funnel. Then I go deeper in my newsletter on the podcast topics. And then I spread out all of that content into my content on Instagram and repurpose through Reels, carousels, live videos, and static posts. Remember, everyone that sees your reel is not going to see your carousel, and everyone that sees your carousel is not going to see your live, and everyone that sees your live is not going to see your static video, and everyone that sees your static video is not going to see every post or every story that you do. Don't work harder, work smarter, repurpose that content. There are 4 ways to grow your following in 2022. But as I said at the beginning, today we've only shared snippets of 2 of the 4 ways. To get the full version, recording of the masterclass, show notes, plus 50 growth ideas, be sure to grab our follower growth masterclass at the link in our show notes so that you can grow strategically with what's working on Instagram in 2022. Instagram is wild right now, but the possibilities have never been more exciting than they are right now. And what we're seeing for what's working with growth is all inside this video. So be sure to pick it up. And as always, we appreciate your listenership so much. Thank you for rating. Leave a review if you haven't, or at least tap the 5-star, please, pretty please. Then snap a picture and share it on Instagram and tag me. I will share it and tag you back. I appreciate you so much. After the training, these are some of the comments we got. I learned so much. Thanks. We love your teaching. Suzanne Joffrion. Kim Stewart said, I always learn something new from you, Ruthie. I have to work on consistency. Suzette Catapode said, yes, very helpful. Thanks for this excellent guidance on next steps. Michelle Bowman, this was a great review and awesome tips. Elizabeth Hours, you are a continuous wealth of information, Ruthie. And that's why I do this, to help y'all figure out the ever-growing mystery of Instagram and make it work for you. You can do it. Thanks for joining me again this week. Remember to share your message your way in your own authentic voice. We'll see you next week.